Hey everybody, it's Charlie and Alyssa from Daily Motor, and we are out here with a live drive of the 2020 Subaru WRX in this Series.White edition. Now if you're tuning in after the fact, this is a live drive that we do once a week to interact with the subscriber base, interact with those interested in the channel, give people a chance to see and experience a car, any specific parts of it that they'd kind of like to see, like to know, any questions on videos we've recently done or might be doing soon. So we'll keep this video posted for a little while, but this is a car that we will have a review of, a fuel economy test, and a sound system review of coming up on the channel shortly. So if you like what you see, subscribe and keep an eye out for this and a lot of other content. So, this being the Subaru WRX, it is rocking the 2-liter flat-4 boxer motor, turbocharged, of course, putting out 268 horsepower and 258 pound-feet of torque, routed to the proper 6-speed manual transmission. It's been around for, I think, about 6 model years now, and Subaru keeps spicing it up with these special editions. So they had the Series Gray last year, and now they've got this Series White. So it does come in white, along with these bronze wheels.
Yeah.
The only place I've seen wheels sort of like these are the Dodge Durango with its Brass Monkey edition.
Brass Monkey, huh?
Yep.
Yeah, these are really interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about them. I really don't think they're neat. They're funky if you want something different other than, you know, that chrome look, or just the brushed, I don't know, stainless steel kind of look, or black. This is gonna be different.
I like them. I like that they're different. I like the wheel design, even though it's a little bit simple.
Yeah.
The whole car itself is kind of a little mix of simple, but also like sporty at the same time.
Yes, it's like a practical sporty look. Yeah.
Yeah, because to the untrained eye, and this could just look like a normal Subaru sedan.
Yeah.
But the WRX definitely has kind of that look at me mentality as well. It's got this big old hood scoop here, and then you've got extra aerodynamic bits and aggressive bits down below. But it's not quite as boy racery looking as the Subaru WRX STI, which would have a big old wing on the back, 310 horsepower out of a 2.5 liter turbo motor. So I think I have no complaints about the looks, I suppose.
No, this would be like the calmer, sleeker older brother.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. So, for any of you tuning in, definitely hit us up in the chat. Let us know anything you'd like to know or see with the WRX or any of the cars we've put up recently. Looks like we got Kyle in the chat. So,
hi, Kyle.
Kyle, we're sorry to hear about your cousin. We understand you guys were very, very close, and we're sorry to hear that he got in that sort of accident. So I know Alyssa and I will be keeping you in our thoughts and your family and everything. But yeah, just try to enjoy the video and let everyone kind of have a chance in the chat, and we'll try to keep you distracted here with some good driving. I know it's not a V8, but I will let you know, Kyle, that I did reach out to Ford today to try to get us a gas Super Duty. So yeah, we've actually, Alyssa and I are taking a trip to the west side of Michigan to do some racing here soon, and so we figured a Super Duty would be a great vehicle to tow with. So I'll let you know, see if we're able to get that Super Duty. But let's I'm gonna hand the camera over to Alyssa now, and I'll pop the hood. We'll take a look at the Subaru's party piece. Now, most engines, especially 4-cylinder engines, typically are in a line. The pistons, the cylinders are all right in a row. But Subaru's trademark is to have a flat 4 boxer motor. So rather than piston, 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 or piston, 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 piston all in a line, you've got 2 pistons going this way outward, and then 2 pistons going that way outward. So they actually oppose each other like that.
That's interesting.
Now, benefits of that are the engine weighs a lot. It's a big hunk of metal, and rather than having the pistons upright, you have them sideways down low. It keeps the center of gravity lower for the car, so it gives a little more of that go-kart sort of feel.
Oh, that's fun.
That's been a trademark of Subarus for a long time, and they stick with that even for their SUVs. But definitely have that here with the WRX. Now this FA, I think it's an FA20 motor, came out back, I'm going to say for the 2012 model year. I'm no Subaru aficionado, but I try to do a little bit of my research. And I know there's a lot you can do to wake this engine up. There's a lot of tunability. You can move around the intercoolers, you can do cat deletes, you can do a lot to really make this engine livelier and more powerful. But in its stock tune, it's not the smoothest engine, as we'll see when we're out on the road. It's not the most efficient, but it does have a little bit of character, and there is something to be said for that.
Yeah. Cool.
Let's take a look back in the trunk, see if we're dealing with any sort of practicality. You know, really the most practical car in this segment would be a GTI, but
let's see.
What do you think? It's probably pretty comparable to your Passat, maybe a little bit smaller?
It actually is a lot smaller than my
Is it?
Passat.
Okay,
yes.
your Passat probably goes a lot deeper.
It does. Yeah. About maybe another foot, I would say, at least.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a class smaller. What we got under here. Oh, that actually really hurt. This is like cardboard.
Oh.
Like plastic cardboard.
Yeah.
A little tiny bit of storage, but most of this is just for spare tire changing. They do have a compact spare under there.
That's interesting. We've got it seems like 2 layers of stuff underneath here.
Yeah. It's kind of a cheap here. Oh, and you know what else is? Oh, no, just kidding. I thought it went all the way up to the back seats, but the seats do fold.
Okay.
Looks like you fold them from in there, so you can expand your space a little bit. Very easy to close trunk. Subarus always have a pretty decent feel of quality. It's a little, certain things like the doors sometimes can feel a little bit light, but this WRX does a pretty good job. Alyssa, you noticed it's a little simple inside, right?
Right, yes. When I first got in, well, the seats are cool. I think we need to get a good look at these.
Yeah, you're right.
They feel like leather. This is like a suede, and I really do like some interiors that we've seen have been ridiculous with the stitching, with the colors, with the two-tones that they do. This is really clean and nice. They do a really good job adding some color, but not making it look so ridiculous, and I do appreciate that. These seats are very simple as well. That's interesting. I leaned back and something like popped. Maybe it's the leather.
Or maybe
against each other?
Maybe someone had the seat down and it just hadn't been like properly latched back into place.
Yep. Yeah, it was probably that. Yeah, but it is what it is. Like you get what you get, and it serves its purpose really well.
It does look like you have a decent amount of legroom.
I do.
And headroom. Right.
So it's really clean back here in that there's not a lot of stuff going on. Let's look at this.
Okay.
There it is. So we've got these little rubber bits to keep your drinks in place. Yeah, that's.
I think there's a cup holder under there.
Is there really? No.
Is there not?
Nope.
Huh. I thought maybe I'm thinking of a different car. I thought there was a pull-down cup holder there.
Yeah. Very simple back here, but I think they did a good job with the interior, making it look kind of cool and neat with the colors and the materials that they chose, because I knew they weren't going to be doing a lot of extra things back here.
Right.
So, and this car, I don't think it really needs it. A person that's wanting this car is wanting something that it's fun to drive, it's fast enough, but it's also very practical. So,
yeah, the whole WRX kind of is a weird blend between like mature and boy racer all at the same time. It's it's almost like it's for that transitionary period when you're when the Vapor becomes about 28 years old and has a little bit of money coming in.
20s.
Right, and he's no longer driving the Civic, so he can afford something a little faster and wants something a little cooler. He goes up to the WRX, especially if you live in snow, because these are all-wheel drive.
Yes, yeah. That was actually one of the things when I was before I bought my Passat, I thought, should I get a Subaru because of that all-wheel drive? Then I saw the price tags even on the used ones, and it was like,
they do command a bit of a premium.
Yeah.
All right, well, shall we hop in?
I think we shall.
Cool. Yeah, no big changes or surprises for the interior. I do think they did a pretty nice job with this Series White. You get some of this Nice door stitching, kind of a soft feel here. As Alyssa pointed out in the rear, some red accents around the seats and the steering wheel. I do like the feel of the steering wheel in general in the WRX. It's a good size.
Nice it's kind of, the bottom is a little bit flatter.
A little bit flat, yep. Good places to hold on to. Not the biggest fan of the button layout. The volume up and down for the radio is a little out of the way. But, you know, could be worse. Other than that, let's see, any other surprises? You do have heated seats there. I have a power driver seat, but Alyssa's got a manual seat on the passenger side.
Yep, there's a bar in the front, and the back part of the seat is on the side, like traditional manual.
You do start to see a little bit of the WRX's age in that there are only 2 USB ports, and they're tucked away here in the center console. 2.1 amp charging, so that's good. And you do have a 3.5 millimeter auxiliary input jack. But up here, I mean, forget wireless device charging, you don't even get a USB port. Huh. So, you know, better get your own phone chargers out of the
Wait a minute.
Oh, is there one hiding up there?
No, I lied, sorry.
I think it's a fuse. Weird. Huh.
Weird.
Yeah, it's something, but definitely not a USB port. Yep. Single zone climate control, although you do at least have auto climate, so that's something. But yeah, it's a pretty basic setup. So let's go ahead and start it up here. Very classic Subaru starter there. Okay. Seats upon first impression seem decently comfortable.
Decently comfortable. They are a little bit harder than
that's true, they are.
The last couple of cars that we've had, but no complaints really so far, just an observation.
Right. You know what's interesting is this car is just as much horsepower as that Altima we had.
Really?
Yeah, that Altima put out a good amount of power. They're both 2-liter turbocharged engines. Mosquito there. But this car makes its power much differently than the Altima, that's for sure. And actually, I think it has less. Yeah, it does have less torque. No, I take it back. The Altima had less horsepower, but more torque.
So did the car sound a little different when you started it just now?
Different than?
Like it. I don't know. What if you try to start it up again and see what it sounds like? That weird, like.
It's just the starter. The starter just sounds weird. Yeah, it's a very strange starter. Yeah.
Almost like it's choking or whatever.
Yeah, it's not a confident sound.
Kyle commented and he's like, it did not sound like it was gonna start.
Yeah, I know. It's just the way that, these sound. You know, I've been in multiple. This center armrest, it's not really an armrest. I can't drive here and rest my elbow on it. It's just like a center console.
I wouldn't even be able to do that either. Right. And I thought, I'm not as tall as you, so that would be fine for me. But no, my elbow actually rests at the same height that yours does.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a little bit lower.
All right. Well, the shifter here, it's a pretty nice shifter setup. It's simple, but it's got a nice little layout for the 1 through 6 ratios there, and it's a pretty long throw. You can see here, pretty confident. Can really feel where the gears latch in, and then reverse is actually over to the right, which is taking me a minute to get used to because just about everything I've driven recently has had reverse over to the left. But it does have a pull collar, so you just pull it over into reverse. You got a backup camera there. It's a little small, but resolution seems okay. It doesn't turn with the car either. Yeah. All right, well, let's see if we can drive this around here. I haven't stalled it yet, so that's something.
Well, maybe you guys will get to see that today.
Right.
Is the reverse being on the right characteristic of Subaru or of this car, or is it just kind of random?
I couldn't tell you. I'm sure certain brands kind of get into, like, they typically have it on one side or the other. But I couldn't tell you specifically if Subaru does that for all of theirs. So it's kind of just random, I think.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Right, so you notice right away that the ride is stiff.
It's quite firm.
Yeah, and I'm not necessarily saying that as a complaint, more of an observation, but when you're buying a car for your area and your typical roads, you have to keep that sort of thing in mind. And this being a car that's a little more geared toward people who experience all 4 seasons, then you got to kind of consider that you might have some cracked asphalt, and you're going to be bouncing around with this thing.
Even on those smooth roads.
Mm-hmm.
We were bouncing around a little.
Yep. All right, we're gonna be sitting here for a moment. Now, we are trying to do the live drive a little bit earlier today, but this is definitely gonna result in more traffic. We weren't able to do it at 2, unfortunately, because this car didn't get delivered until about 3. So I had to go up to Chris up at the Topher and swap with him and pick it up. So
Bronco. No, I always do that. I always do that.
Oh, there's another WRX right back there.
Huh. That one looks a little bit more souped up.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, red too. It's pretty.
Yeah, bike rack.
Yep. Outdoorsy type people.
Yeah.
All right, we're going. Hopefully you guys can hear all the turbo noises this car makes over the live drive. It's kind of fun. One thing that is a little tough is the engine doesn't, it almost gets quieter as it gets louder. We'll see if we experience, or not, that's stupid. It almost gets quieter as it gets higher up. So it's kind of hard to know when you need to shift.
Huh.
I mean, I'm sure, like any car, once you kind of get used to where the sound it makes when you need to shift, then you get used to that. But engine is pretty happy to rev. It's not quite as good as most 2-liter turbos, but the steering's pretty good as we kind of got into that roundabout quickly.
We'll have to take that roundabout a lot of different times just to see how well it does.
Right. Now we're cruising at 55 miles per hour. We're in 6th gear. It's not the quietest car. You hear a good amount of road noise.
No.
Don't seem to notice any wind noise.
Yeah. Tire noise, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
A little bit of exhaust noise when I'm on throttle, but not bad. Right. It's actually quite easy to heel toe. Went down from 6th to 4th there. We'll go 4th up to 3rd. Yeah, very easy to rev match.
Good.
This person. Yeah, it actually loads up quite nicely.
Wow. No tire spin too.
Yeah, no, it definitely had some more in it. I'm just kind of letting you make sure your lunch is digested.
Oh, thank you.
It'll be interesting because I haven't driven the car much, but throughout this live drive, it'll be interesting to see how comfortable I am with it by the end and see how much smoother it is. Maybe Alyssa can attest to that.
Ah, okay. The true test.
Yep. I'm actually quite happy with the feel of the steering right now. I mean, the firm suspension kind of helps with the feel of everything. Oh man, is that...
What was that?
It's just letting out the clutch a little early and it just really shook.
Huh.
Yeah, I can definitely see why people do things to make these a little louder. It's just kind of quiet on exhaust. I mean, it's for being an exciting sporty car, I think it would do a little bit more.
Alright, we're gonna take this again. Oh! Nice! Wow! Okay.
That's actually, I think, the first time I've ever had oversteer on that corner. It definitely came in and got loose in a weird way.
Yes, yeah. That was the first time I've witnessed it.
It's, I mean, it wouldn't have been a hard thing to save, but you felt the car with its stability control just kicked right in and straightened us right back out. And it's a little bit cooler today than it's been on our live drives in the past, but these tires should be warmed up, and yeah, it's a little disappointing that we weren't able to get a little bit more grip through there, but
it's interesting. Huh.
It is taking these bumps better than I expected. Like, it's firm but not crashy.
What do you mean by crashy?
Like, it's not like harsh, like
Oh, I see.
And and it's not like loud, like we're not hearing it.
Right.
Come through.
It's a lot of just little little bumps.
Yep. It's fun. It's a good amount of power. People often don't realize how much fun you can have with a smaller car that only has 200 to 300 horsepower range. I mean, something like this or like a Veloster N, GTI, a lot of things like that. It can be a lot of fun when you really get to floor them all the time. I mean, like right now, foot to the floor, foot to the floor. I mean, when we're in some of those crazy fast cars, you can't do that in a lot of situations.
Right. Well, you were saying this about motorcycles. It's more fun to get a slower bike because then you actually feel more of the bike's full ability.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. No, that's definitely true. All right, let's go. Let's go. And we'll turn around here.
Moran Samandi says Subaru has to include vape in the WRX model.
Yeah, really, that'll be the 2021 Series Vape edition. There are these YouTube guys, I think they were called Muscle versus Tuner, and they would do these videos that were like things certain car owners say, so they did like things WRX owners say.
Oh my.
And I think he got out of it and like a huge vape cloud got out with him. And it had a little tuner thing on the side, but he said that the car just runs on vape juice and stuff. It's good fun.
That's perfect.
And my buddy Max, when he had one of these, he vaped a bunch and perfectly fit the stereotype. But then he got rid of the WRX, now he doesn't vape anymore. Or does he still vape?
I think he does.
I think he does still vape. But not in the same way that he did. He used to have like the little like USB stick looking vapes.
Right. I think he's got one around his neck.
Anything else going on in the comments? For those of you just joining us, feel free to hit us up in the chat and tell us what you think about this WRX, or if there's anything you'd like to know.
Or anything you'd like to share. If you guys have owned one before.
Yeah.
Or new people that owned them before. Sorry, it's hard to talk when he's changing gears, and I'm just like,
yeah, WRX, people with WRXs typically do a lot to their cars. They really customize them, so let us know if there's something we should know about WRX ownership. Anything else going on in there?
Let's see.
Wonder if we'll get that Kunal KR or whoever his name is.
Canoe KR17.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, memorized.
It just sounds so cool. It rolls off the tongue. You wouldn't think that it would, too.
Right.
Hopefully I've been saying it right all this time.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah. So, Moran wants to know how bad the rev hang is. Does it feel like it's bad at all?
Yeah, I'll have to put it this way. It hasn't been so bad that I've explicitly noticed it yet. Like it hasn't been a sore point, but I do recognize that it's there. Now it's definitely better than the Civic SIs, and it's better than the Jetta that we just had, the GLI.
Okay.
It's better than both of those. I think part of it that makes it seem better is because the engine's a little quieter, especially up at high revs. I don't notice it quite as much. But we'll see here after we get off the highway kind of how it reacts.
Oh, he's slowing down. Let's see if we're gonna spin it out again.
Rev hang's that bad. I'll have to see it back when we get off the highway, but definitely loud.
Yeah.
Not even doing 60 or 70 right now.
Yeah, we're just doing 60.
Yeah, not a lot of sound deadening in here. I'll talk louder. It is a loud section of highway, but still, we drive all our cars on this section of highway. No adaptive cruise control, just standard cruise. There's a lot going on here, though. So this is a very good example of a car that, just because I don't think it's very good, like there are a lot of things about it that aren't what you define as good. They're not like, they don't check the box necessarily. They're faults. But that doesn't mean that I don't like the car. And in some ways it makes me like the car more. It makes it more memorable. It gives it more character. So even if it does ride a little firm and is a little loud and it's lacking features, And the engine isn't necessarily that smooth. I mean, you want to know what's really smooth? It's an electric vehicle. So you almost kind of, cars that aren't perfect are a little more endearing. So let's see here. Let's do a little bit of a launch. Turn my stability control off. Can I not turn drive mode? Okay. Ready?
Yes. What was that?
Well, it was a clutch drop, but I'm
okay.
gonna have to drop from a higher rev. Let's see.
Okay.
There.
Wow.
There's 60. 60 is right at the top of second gear. I pretty much had to kiss the rev limiter to get up to 60.
Wow.
Yeah, it's rough.
Yeah, very rough. Very rough.
That first to second shift is brutal.
Yeah. Wow.
And not in a good way.
Oh, my head's gonna hurt because it hit against the headrest a couple times.
We'll try not to do that anymore.
No, that's okay.
Let's analyze the rev hang now. It's yeah, it's not as bad as the Civic or the Jetta. It's there. I would definitely like, if I owned it, I'd want to tune it out. They typically have the revs hang a little bit more to do better at fuel economy testing. But this isn't too bad. Anything else going on?
Yes, we've got the Topher watching.
Oh, hey, Chris up at the Topher.
He says,
unless Charlotte logged onto his computer, I don't know, it could be me for all we know, but we're gonna assume it's Chris.
He says, do you feel like the baby driver?
You ever seen that movie?
I know.
It's this movie that came out within the last 5 years or so. It's, I think it's the last 5 years. It's like a heist movie, but it focuses on the driver.
Oh.
He has a red WRX that he does all his cool driving and everything.
Cute.
No, because I don't have headphones in, or else I would feel like he always listens to music too.
Gotcha. Big bump there.
Yeah.
Ooh, actually, it's a bridge. Oh, goodness.
Right around here is where the WRX really excels, because it's just got a good amount of lean into it type power from like the about 3 grand all the way up to 5,000 RPM. And it's just a very satisfying pull. And the steering, you don't really notice the steering feeling good until you load it up, and when you do, you're like, oh yeah, it feels nice.
What are you like?
Oh yeah. The pedals are really nicely placed next to each other, the gas and the brake.
Okay, so the main thing about this car is maybe not how it feels or anything, or any of its special effects, but the driving quality. Like how you feel controlling the car. Is that a fair assessment?
I think so. Yeah, it's gonna take me a little bit longer to figure out how I want to articulate it. I mean, we don't, contrary to how it may seem in some of my reviews, we don't just hop in the car and give our evaluations. It's after spending a good amount of time in the vehicles. And so certain cars just take a little longer to figure out how exactly to how to communicate the driving experience into words, translate that. It's yeah, I couldn't give any final evaluations, but I like how easy it is to heel toe, to rev match. I like kind of letting that turbo spool up and then pull away. I could see how you'd want to have a little bit more high-end power, especially if you were tracking this. There's just not much, like right now, about once it builds boost and starts putting on full torque, that's kind of it. You don't really have much up at the top end of the rev range. So I could see the appeal to the STI or just doing some tunes to this.
Right. Topher's other question was, is the STI worth the extra chunk of change?
But I'd say probably, and the only reason being is I think if I were going to get one of these, I'd probably just get like a Veloster N instead.
Huh.
It'd be a lot less money and it'd be more fun.
What would the reason for that be?
The Veloster N makes these really loud pops and bangs.
That's right.
Yeah, and it's a little cooler looking, I think, and
is it that little baby
blue one?
Little baby blue one?
Yep.
That one was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was driving one of those, and he dropped me off at class one time at U of M, and I felt so darn cool.
I popped and banged all the way.
Yeah. I could hear you all the way down South U. Yeah.
There are definitely aspects to driving this car that are more satisfying than the Veloster. I think this feels a little better at the limit than the Veloster does. But the truth is you don't spend much of your daily driving at the limit.
Yeah.
So what do you want, a car that's good 20% of the time or 80% of the time?
Right.
Feel the all-wheel drive right there kind of pulling us through the last minute as I got back on the throttle.
Yep.
That is another reason to get this over a lot of its competition, is to get all-wheel drive. If you're going to be driving in the winter a lot, or that just appeals to you. Now, we will be doing a highway fuel economy test on this WRX, as well as sound system review. And I always like to do those highway fuel economy tests because then I get an idea of how the car feels after sitting in the seat, steady state, for a few hours.
So let's get you right. Woo!
I want to hear it scream a little bit more. Maybe I'm just a little spoiled after being in that
Lexus.
Yeah, that LC500 convertible. But
that V8.
Yeah, it just, this car sounds good up to about 3,500 RPM, and then you don't really hear it after that. So.
Well, this has got to be for that practical guy that doesn't want to be screaming down the road on his way to work.
That's true. And I would be a bit of a hypocrite to say, I mean, I've been in cars that do the artificial sound through the speakers, and I don't like that either. So.
Right. So this is a very honest car.
Yeah. To that point, it is straightforward, simple, and honest.
Yeah. You can see that in the interior and pretty much with how it drives.
Right. Well, that sort of brings up the point of this whole Series.White edition. I mean, that's an extra almost $5,000 to get the Series.White version. You get the fancy seats, the wheels.
Okay.
You do get Brembo brakes, Bilstein shocks, but it's kind of like how much of that allows you to just enjoy the Subaru, the WRX on a day-to-day basis, and would it be worth spending that extra money? I mean, should you just get one that's like 32 or 33,000? Because this car starts, I'd have to double check, but I think in the mid to high 20s, like 26 grand.
Oh wow!
And this one's 35.
Wow.
So okay. It's kind of like, is you're still getting a pretty basic interior and stuff. But the car does feel really good. I just feel like if you were going to track it or anything, you'd just step up to the STI.
Right. Okay.
We'll head down this road and pop out and take another quick look around the car.
So now that you've been in the car for a little bit, how does the stick shift feel? Does it feel a little bit smoother to kind of fit it into the gears? And
Yeah, it's a little easier to modulate. Any manual you get used to it with some time behind the wheel.
Okay.
And this is no different. Let's see. Yeah, it's a lot of fun to drive fast.
I feel like most people would be like, well, duh.
Well,
driving fast.
Like that Mini that we had, for example.
That was crazy.
I did not care to drive that car fast. Now, it was fun to just throw it around slower speeds because it was so fast and it was bold and it was loud and everything. But some cars feel a little timid and you sort of lose confidence at higher speeds. This car seems to gain confidence at higher speeds.
Okay.
So that's something to be said. Right. And the ride really isn't shaking us up as much as I thought it would. What do you think? Are you feeling it at this point?
I'm definitely feeling it, but I am.
Do you feel it, Melissa?
Are you feeling it, Mr. Chris? I am feeling it, but that's because I've got my arm up and I'm trying to hold a phone.
That's a good point.
So if I was just sitting here minding my own business, you know, if we were to take it on a road trip, unless I wanted to do something with my hands, if I wanted to read a book, or if I wanted to,
right,
yeah,
that's true,
do something very specific, it would be pretty difficult, I would think.
Right.
But if you're just gonna commute maybe 5, maybe even to 20 minutes a day to work or wherever it is that you're going, it's fine. It's doable. Okay. In my opinion, I don't think it's very ideal, but we do live in a place that has beat up roads. Yeah. So.
You want some more?
Yeah, I'd love some.
So just swap you here. Give you guys kind of a behind the gotta find an alley for that handbrake 360. I was thinking that Chris.
I was hoping you weren't going to see that coming.
I was thinking of that for the end. The gauge cluster is simple but handsome. Got analog gauges, right and left. Then a little center instrument cluster here that shows you little bits of information, speed, and not much else actually. Little miles per gallon thing on top.
I think you should talk about that.
Oh yeah, this little Subaru's classic top information display here. It's controlled by this little button configuration there. You can cycle through a few different screens. Right now you've got boost. So if give it some gas there, you can see how much boost we're making. And then throttle position as well. Go down, you got a clock, the date. You got some fuel economy stats, angle of the car, and what where power is going. More fuel economy stats, and back to our boost gauge. Stop start right there. Doors seem to have pretty solid feel to them. It feels like a pretty sturdy car.
Yeah, I think that's a really good word to use for
sturdy.
This. Very, very sturdy.
Now, the driver's visor does not pull out, but there is a handle right here, so I appreciate that.
And I have one as well, which I've been using.
Yeah, no auto-dimming mirror. Very simple. Dome lights.
Like you said earlier, very Spartan.
Yes. Yep. All right. Get out and take another look here. I like this white.
It's so crisp.
It really is.
It's so crisp. Like I was saying earlier, it's honest.
I was kind of hoping we'd get some rain during this live drive so we could really test out the all-wheel drive. But what tires are we rocking here? We've got 245/40 R18. What in the world? Oh, Dunlop Sport Max RTs. Huh. Okay. Fine. Fine. Yeah. No super sports, but they'll do. Yeah, let us know in the comments what you guys think of this car. Would you buy a WRX? Would you be more GTI, Civic SI, Type R, Veloster, and that sort of deal? Yeah, would you step up to the STI? Do you have these nice Brembo brakes like we mentioned? Bilstein shocks in there. No slotted and drilled rotors though, just standard clampers. Pretty neat. Quad exhaust. Alright. Well, if you want to take the camera, Liz, I'll start it up and we can get a little exhaust clip.
Alrighty.
Drive around a little bit more and wrap things up.
sounds more aggressive. Obviously, I'm standing right behind it,
right.
But it sounds pretty aggressive, pretty good.
Yeah, I think when it stops, you definitely hear a little bit more, and it sounds a little bit cooler than it does behind the wheel.
Yeah.
So, there's not really too much you can do about that other than just make it louder.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd rather them keep it honest than pipe in sound.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yep. Because then it just sounds artificial. Sounds like you're just driving a video game.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I like this kind of blacked out lettering.
I really do like that too, and I touched it earlier, and it's a nice, solid feel to it.
Yeah. Yep.
Really cool.
Yeah. Let's turn the lights on. Darker out. No automatic headlights, even for
really
35 grand. Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I feel like that's actually something that's missing.
Well, you could argue there's a lot missing. You don't have navigation.
Well,
you don't have...
of all the things that are, I feel like that's one that I would be disappointed to find out I don't have.
Yeah.
But there's no nav?
No nav?
Really?
Yeah. I have to double check. I think there's Android Auto and Apple CarPlay support though. So
okay, so yeah. All right. Yeah. Let us know if the wind that we're having right now it makes it difficult for you guys to hear us, so we can talk louder.
As always, let us know if there are ever any issues with the stream. We're always looking to improve, but most people don't seem to whine about it, so we haven't changed.
All right.
There it is.
I think it's a little bit further to the right.
Here, just ticking away there. Injectors. Pretty easy engine to get to most things. You can see the belt right in there. Serpentine belt. You got your oil filter. Easy to change.
Try not to drop your phone right into it.
Yeah, pretty ideal. Can we hop in?
Yeah.
Oh boy. The seats hug you a good amount, but not too much. There are definitely tighter seats we've been in recently, so I think they did a pretty good job with those.
It's like a firmly grasped.
Firmly grasp it.
Firmly grasp it.
Okay. Definitely has that just big single turbo characteristic where, let's see, if I'm in like second right now, slow down a little, I just sort of lean on the throttle, about half throttle. Right there, I didn't change how much my foot was on the gas at all, but you can just feel the car sort of start to get taken away when the turbo builds up. And you can see up here actually, right on the screen, I'm going to put the throttle to about 50%, but then as boost builds, it's going to get going a lot faster.
Huh.
Yeah, it's kind of neat.
Woo, woo.
Yeah, that's good. I'd like to see where peak horsepower is made with this engine, because it just feels like it must be at like 5,500, maybe 6,000 RPM. There's not really much happening above that. We're gonna see if this Camaro wants to play around. It is fun here in the turbo too.
Yeah, it is really fun. Does that Camaro still have splitter guards, or is that something else I'm seeing?
No, it's just some weird decal. What he's got going on. Sort of fuel economy of we've been getting 20. Well, I've seen worse, but that also factors in my drive on the highway earlier.
Right.
So. Alright, well, if there are any last things you all would like to know or see about the 2020 WRX, let us know in the comments. We'll try to get to them. Other than that, we're going to get wrapping things up here soon. What do you think, Alyssa? Have you been to buy yourself a Subaru?
No. No. This car isn't built for my type of driving. I mean,
That is true.
I guess I should say the other way around. My driving is does not need a type of car like this. You know, like
yeah.
I barely drive as it is, working from home, and when I do, I'm just putzing around town. I might go on the highway if I have to get into Ann Arbor again, but
right.
Really, I'm not doing a whole lot. I'm not going to be speed racing or.
Yeah, this is a car that I do feel like would be underutilized by just commuting in it and just daily driving sort of deal. Whereas something like a GLI or GTI, you could have more fun with that car on just a daily commuting sort of basis and get much better fuel economy at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So, yeah, this car feels really good when it's loaded up and driving it fast and hard, but how often is that really happening?
Also, I don't vape.
Oh yeah, that's true. You don't vape. So no point in you buying this. Although you might start if you bought it.
Might rub off on me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anything going on in the comments?
Quiet.
Right. Well, maybe people don't care for 4 p.m. streams.
Potentially.
Yes. Or Subaru WRXs. Or us.
Oh! What are they doing on the channel then?
Starting to change there.
Yeah. It's fall.
This road will be an interesting test for bumpiness because it's got some just hard compression sort of bumps.
Gotcha. Okay. Sure. Ooh, on loose stone too. Wonderful. Are you doing it in here in the back?
Just kind of, taking inventory here. Oh, that was anticlimactic.
My heart didn't even skip a beat with that.
You could plow it through that puddle.
Tiny one.
That one?
Oh, no, it's white. It's a white car, Charles.
Yeah, I don't want to, I didn't like that scene back there.
Okay.
Have to find a different gravel lot for Chris's handbrake. Handbrake 360. Or just try the asphalt. What I really wanted to do is just try to kind of drift it around. But that's okay. I have to identify a good gravel spot sometime.
Incorporate that into our
live drive route.
Need a TV?
There you go.
I think that's a TV
Let
on
us
the
know
road right
if
there.
you need one, we'll direct you to it.
And a couple of tires.
Yeah. We could use the parking lot of A1 Auto Salvage and Scrap.
Well, perfect spot for it.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with a solid rev hang is not an issue. I think that's my final answer, which is nice.
Good.
Yeah, it's just enough time for you to get in a smooth shift without having to really force it. But you don't have to wait a long time for it either. That's nice.
Good.
So we're gonna wrap things up here in a few minutes. So any last things you'd like to know, see, or talk about with Subaru's WRX or any other sorts of cars, let us know. Alyssa and I are actually going to be driving a pretty awesome car this weekend. A little Daily Motor exclusive, and by exclusive I mean it'll also go up on Winding Road, but we will be driving a 2020 McLaren 570S Spider around the mountains of just outside of Denver, Colorado. So that's something we're looking forward to, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Get some good videos of that. Probably won't be live driving it, but you know, we'll see. Maybe we'll be bored.
Yeah. Which I highly doubt for this road trip, but
There's a plane going over.
huh.
I can hear it. You can see it.
Ooh, I just noticed.
Yeah.
No sunroof.
Nope. In fact, the Series.White has what's called a moonroof delete option.
What?
Like there's typically a sunroof, but you don't get it with the Series.White version.
Huh.
Yeah, sunroofs add a lot of, they throw off the center of gravity a lot.
Do they actually?
Raise the center of gravity.
Oh, that's really interesting. I never would have thought that.
Yep. So, not good for sporty.
Gotcha.
Anti-sport. Yes.
Why is that?
Well, your center of gravity, if you think of like, think of a lever, it's much easier to push on the outside of a lever than it is kind of right near the fulcrum.
Okay.
The inside point. So if you think of, as you go around a corner, let me think here. So you're going around a corner of the car, let me pull out. That's what he said. If you think of the car as a lever right here, so right now we're like straight up and down, and we're going around this corner, and we're kind of like, the car wants to keep going that way because of inertia. It wants to keep going straight, so we're yanking it back this way. Anything that's down low on the car is not going to be able to pull the car over in like a tipping manner the same way it would be on the top.
I see.
Yep. So a little bit of weight up here has just as much force as a lot of weight down low. I'm trying to think of like a real world sort of like a teeter-totter. If you're at the very end of a teeter-totter, you can push it down. It's much easier to push down on it, whereas instead of being like at the very front, or like an ice cream scoop.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what you don't want to do is you want to eliminate how much the car is encouraged to keep going that way, because we want to turn it. We want it to go this way. So the weight down low doesn't have as much of a force as weight up high.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, it's mildly okay explanation there. But I've been told by an engineer at GM that in their Suburbans, Tahoes, Escalades, those sort of vehicles, the weight of a sunroof has the same amount of effect on center of gravity as an entire four-wheel drive system down low.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yep.
But it makes sense, though.
Yeah. I'll try to think of some other real-world application for torque. But yeah, so, long story short, if you want a sporty car, don't have a sunroof. Like that blue one, that Jeep. Right.
Yeah, it's very pretty.
Yeah, these Bilstein shocks just feel so good when they're loaded up. It's just like, I'm actually surprised the ride isn't worse.
Really?
Yeah, with how well it corners. Yeah. Did a really good job with those. It's going to be a tough car to review, because there's kind of going to be like a lot to talk about, but hard to take a stand on it.
Is it going to stump you? The car that stumps Charlie.
No, I'll be able to figure something out. Might not be good, but it'll be something.
Oh, look, a Corvette.
Yeah, I see C6 Corvette there.
Get out of here, Renegade.
Very nice. A nice pretty blue Mazda CX-5 as well. It's not quite silver red crystal, but...
I like the blue better.
It's okay.
And it also sounds better when you say Soul Crystal Red. Instead of Soul Red Crystal. But, whatever. like locked up those brakes just a little bit.
Try them out. Put those Brembos to the test. Yeah, this is fun. I like this. They're you know, some cars are very easy to predict what they're going to be like from start to finish of a loan, and this one not quite so much. So it'll be interesting to see what I think after spending some more time with it. But I can see the appeal. It's definitely not all objective, but there's a subjective element too. I mean, you get in, you'd be like, oh, this thing looks old, dated, it's been around for a while, looks cheap, everything. But I can see some sort of appeal.
Well, good.
Yeah.
Perhaps an honest review for an honest car.
Correct. Rather than a fun review for a fun car.
Or a silly review for a silly car.
Yes. And that's that. The 2020 Subaru WRX Series.White. Keep an eye out on the channel for all our other coverage on this Subaru. We'll be pumping out lots of videos here. And yeah, thanks a lot to Alyssa for coming and helping out. And
you're welcome.
Shooting and everything.
As always.
As always. I'm Charlie from Daily Motor. Drive on.